The Arizona Cardinals have officially activated Kyler Murray for the playoff push. Oh, wait, I'm hearing that they're 1-8 and maybe the worst team in the NFL. Alex Clancy from Locked On Cardinals joins me now. Maybe he can confirm some of that information that I'm hearing in my ear. Alex, there's been an expectation that the Cardinals would wait, especially if they're losing games. Caleb Williams, Drake May, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So why have they spoiled this bowl of Lucky Charms?
I'm very happy you asked me that, Peter Bukowski. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is a QB1. So if the Cardinals have the ability to have that under, wearing an Arizona Cardinals uniform already, they'll still have a top 7 pick because they have a bad roster, and they'll still arguably be able to get the top offensive lineman, the top edge rusher, the top corner. Kyler Murray coming back, playing well, and maybe losing more games than they win is the best case scenario, showing that with him playing well and on to 2024 after that.
Yeah, the thing that I'm being a little facetious, right? Because we like to have fun about this one, but they're already 1-8. Like, the die is cast in a lot of ways. Like, this is going to be a losing season. They're going to get a top 12 to 15 pick almost no matter what happens. So I understand, and you and I have talked offline about culture and how this team has, despite the 1-8 record, been in a lot of these games that they, frankly, their roster has no business being in these games. And it seems like their view is, we value building something here more than we value asset accumulation. Does that seem like a fair assessment here?
Well, yeah, you want to toe that line. I mean, you want to straddle that fence where it's like you can accumulate draft capital or talent while building and providing what I've called this entire season, the proof of concept that this new regime is trying to, bricklay as their players start to come back. And I mean, Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson are back. James Conner could be activated off the IR this week. Kyler Murray's going to come back. Like, this is when you get to watch what they've got in-house already and where they really, it's like putting dye in your air conditioner thing to see where the holes are. Like, that's what the rest of the season is for the Cardinals, to find where they can utilize their massive amounts of draft capital in the top 3 rounds and the massive amount of cap space they're going to have compared to what they've had over the last couple of years, in an effort to really turn that worst to first mentality into fruition, or as close to that as possible.
Only someone Phoenix-based would be talking about air conditioners in early November. Just flex on all of us, Alex. Thank you very much. We're freezing over here in the rest of the country. So as we try and set reasonable expectations for this Cardinals team, yes, they have Kyler Murray back, but there's still not a lot elsewhere on this roster. So what does Kyler, when you have a quarterback who can do what he can, what does he help you evaluate? Because that seems like that's going to be the mode they're in the rest of the way. Evaluation mode. Who is part of the real core of this team moving forward? How does he help them do that? Who does he help them do that for?
It's namely the offensive line first. Paris Johnson Jr. has been very good, all things considered, on the right side. I mean, Pro Football Focus isn't a huge fan of him. He's been in the low 60s, high 50s, but he's played every snap, hasn't given up a whole bunch of sacks. The rest of the offensive line is the problem. DJ Humphrey's now injured. Elijah Wilkerson, who was on IR, was the starting left guard. Jalti Frolt, the center's been fine, and Will Hernandez is now hurt. So 3 out of the 5 starting offensive linemen to start the season are not playing right now. So that's going to be problematic. But the big name one is going to be the wide receiver room. Hollywood Brown, is he a wide receiver 1? Do you keep him and give him $20 million a year because he and Kyler Murray are best friends? They play together in college. Michael Wilson, who has had standouts at times this year, 3rd-round pick out of Stanford, who looks to be a guy they can trust on the outside. Rondell Moore. It's going to be more like that Trey McBride pass catchers, because the defense is really they were an afterthought this offseason. You drafted a couple defensive guys, but it's really about the offense, and it's a lot better to infuse plug-and-play defensive talent in this day and age than offensive in a lot of cases, and that's why kind of putting a microscope around this offense as a whole in Drew Petzing's system to see what they have moving forward for the future is of optimal concern at this point.